How do you keep going with acquiring businesses, even though some of your acquisitions don't work out exactly the way you planned? Hi, I'm Jared Kraus. I'm the host of the Buying Online Business podcast, and today I'm speaking with Shlomo Freud, who is an author, speaker, and digital marketer. He helps e-commerce brands scale by building strong marketing channels outside of paid ads. He's also acquired many online businesses himself and used the growth by acquisition strategy to build a portfolio of online businesses. And in this episode, we talk about the types of business he's bought, the first business he bought, the second business he bought, how he's partnered with other people and acquired businesses, how he has brought different people into his team and shared operational roles with people, how these operators operate the business, and what does he do in terms of incentives for them? Does he pay them a wage? Does he have them have equity in the business, and what that actually looks like? We talk about his mistakes that he's made and what he would do moving forwards, and also the advice he would share for people that are looking at buying businesses. We talk about due diligence. Of course, if you haven't got my due diligence framework and you do want to buy businesses, make sure you go to buyingonlinebusinesses.com/free resources and get that due diligence framework. It's made people millions of dollars and saved people millions of dollars. It takes the guesswork out of buying businesses. And also later on in the podcast episode, Shlomo asked me a question like, how did I build buying online businesses? How did I build a community? Which is something he's looking to do with his businesses, is build a community. And I think it's a very valuable share for you guys to know as business owners wanting to grow your businesses too. So there's so much value in this podcast episode. Enjoy. Shlomo, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much for hosting, Jared. Pleasure.
Yeah, welcome. Absolutely. So when I reached out to you, you said you've been listening in for a little bit. When did you find out about the pod?
So I've been following your YouTube channel, looking at the interesting guests that you bring and your videos, because I also have my own videos. It was kind of nice to see who else is in the space, what they do. This is how I found out about your business and community. So I'm, again, very glad to be here and kind of meeting a colleague. Thank you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And so when did you buy your first online business?
So I've been doing internet marketing for about 20 years now. I always had something to do with the internet marketing, even when I had a real job. So it's kind of, I can't tell by, but doing entrepreneurship, I'd say that. And I knew about buying businesses back in the days, but when there was only Flippa out there and it was the wild, wild west, I kind of, it was, is this real? So I forgot about it. And then at the end of 2020, I finally bought my first asset, not building, but buying. It took me about 4 or 5 months of looking at hundreds of deals. You probably know the process. This is when I bought a significant, large business for me.
Congratulations.
And that was the first one. Thank you.
Are you open to sharing a little bit about it, figures, the type of business? Obviously not disclosing everything, but are you open to sharing?
So it was a content website. They're not as popular today as they used to be. Many of them crashed. And unfortunately, this one also crashed about a year something ago.
Right.
It's not dead, but it's significantly crashed.
Yeah. Okay. What have you bought since?
Since then, I bought a small no-code platform. And now I'm actually adding a partner there because I don't have the capacity to work on that.
Small what,
I bought no-code. So no-code.
No-code.
Yeah. I invested with a partner on a few directories, and I think that's the best gem that I have. And this one is a quotes platform. People coining their own quotes. We have 250,000 quotes that people just want to give to the world. And people just keep adding this. There's a nice community there. I'm currently rebuilding it because I need a new branding and it needs a new design, but that's a nice asset to have. The funny thing is, and you might also seen that, Jared, is that sometimes you get really good deals at a low price, has huge traffic. You just don't understand how come they're under monetized to that extent. And this is what happened with this one. So it's an interesting story. And I'm kind of looking at this asset. I'm like, can't be. And when you dig in, it made more sense. Yeah.
Right. So how does the business make money? How did it make money when you purchased it? And then how does it make money now? Like what revenue streams have you added to it?
It started with ads and then I changed the ad network and it did bump up. However, since then, I didn't touch it. Just like many content websites, as I mentioned, it did crash. However, there's still all this potential there with those 250,000 quotes where you can do a lot with. So it's building a daily quote newsletter, which is already up there. You can build merch with this website. We have a service where we verify people's quotes. So if somebody wants to say, this is my quote, they pay us, we make a search, make sure that there's nothing similar. If there's something similar, then we tell them also, and then we verify their quote. So among all my digital assets, I think this one has the most potential with this one.
Right. Right. And so you're working on growing that because it's been hit by the algorithm changes. Is that right?
Yes, that one, because it has the community around it. And when I'm saying community, I'm saying it's not that there is a paid community or a Facebook group or any of that, but versus the first website that I mentioned, the content website where people come, get information and go. With that one, I get emails from people how much they love the website and they're going through this. So it's more substantial there. So I know that one is just waiting to be grown, although again, it was hit. So
what other businesses have you purchased? So you've bought those two. Have you bought any others in between or after?
So that was also the no-code one. And then I moved more into doing co-investing. So that was the two directories that I mentioned. And not related to online businesses, but recently I also started also investing in offline businesses, kind of diversifying investment. So
right.
This is my portfolio.
So congrats. So you've got two different directories, is that right? And you co-invested, is that right?
Yes. So we have two directories. These are in two different niches. Actually, three directories. It's a package eventually. We're growing.
Eventually, or did you buy it as a package?
What's that?
Did you buy them together? Did you buy them separately?
No. So we bought them. Somebody started building it. I bought 50% of that. And then I bought another one from him. And then we then as part of an agreement, we got to a third one to partner on that one together. So all those are three very different niches. One of them is now we're working on harder to grow it versus the other. And then we'll go for the next one and the next one. That's the plan.
Right. Cool. And so you've got three directories, two content businesses, and you're looking at purchasing offline businesses now. Is that right?
Yes. And there is the no-code one is another platform.
Sorry, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
And I also have my business and my website, but that's a different thing. So
yeah. Lots going on, man. What have you learned? Like, what's the maybe 2 to 3 biggest things you've learned since your first acquisition in 2020 to now? What do you think are the most valuable things that you've learned? Maybe 2 or 3 things.
So first of all is that the market is very volatile, and something that succeeded 1 year ago or 2 years ago might not succeed now. It doesn't mean that is dead, but you might just need to change the angle of that one. As example, with that content website, the first one that I mentioned, now I'm building a directory for it. I have a mailing list with that one, and maybe we'll grow a community with that one. So you're changing the angle from pure content into something else. So this is definitely one thing. The second thing that I've learned that the best things comes, and I'm going to say something obvious here, with experience. So the quotes website that I mentioned was just after seeing hundreds of deals, and then you find this gem and you're like, okay, but that was hard to find. So you need to put the work and sifting through all these listings and finding the right ones. And once you start buying businesses and be at the market, you start getting private deals. Now, I'm trying to think if any of the deals that I bought eventually were, so none of the deals that I bought were private deals. The most private one was from a Facebook group, but that's not really private. But what I'm saying is that the best deals comes from private deals, though none of the ones that I looked at have materialized. But you really have a competitive advantage once you tap into that. And once people know that you're buying, they will approach to you. And this is what happens to me today. So from time to time, somebody approaches and says, are you interested in this? Are you interested in that? You might have the same experience, Jared. And these are off-market deals.
I mean, it helps when you've got a brand and a name in the space and people want to sell you their business. Word of warning, obviously you do have people that want to sell a business and it's easy for them to just come to you to see if you want to buy it versus listing it somewhere for sale. So you can get some good off-market deals. Typically the best off-market deals that I find are the ones that I sort of sniff around for versus them just coming across my desk.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen deals that have come across my desk and be like, damn, that's good. Yeah, I don't actively. I mean, you got to be in the right spot to purchase, and it should align with what's going to suit you moving forwards. Your acquisitions, are they the first one, all of them, are they sort of sub 100K, or what sort of price range are we talking about?
Sub 100K. They're all sub 100K. I focused on the smaller ones. Yeah, for now, these are the sizes I'm dealing with. Not $500,000 and all those, but we'll grow to those also.
Yeah, awesome. Have you sold any of these or thought about selling any?
Yes. Okay. So I did also buy an automotive website that was mainly based on Amazon Associates as monetization.
Mm-hmm.
So affiliate. Unfortunately, with that one, I actually lost. I bought it for around, that was a tiny deal, really tiny deal, but it still looked good on paper. It was, and then I decided that I don't want to work on that. I'm not interested. I just lost interest. You know, sometimes we just buy something and then you just lose interest. It's like it's time to move on. And just at that time, the traffic also started to fall. It was even before the HCU. I don't know what's going on with that today because I sold it. Unfortunately, around 65% loss with that. Maybe 60 because also I got some money during that time. So that was a content website on antennas and truck radios. Very niche.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, so that was an interesting ride still.
I might have seen that one.
You might have seen that one?
I might have for sale. Not when you were selling it, but I might have saw it when you were... I mean, I've looked at some similar ones to that. I mean, we get so many deals put across our desk with our members, so we know the market very intimately at all price ranges and niches. So yeah, it's an interesting space. Like there is more and more brokers coming out now. It's good because it spreads, it's a load of and more deals coming to the market, which is great. But still there's a lot of deals, majority of the brokers still. Facebook groups have definitely died off since the helpful content update. Less people are into content websites because AI and search engines have all been changing and all that. So my SEO team and our marketing agency has helped a lot of those people sort of grow out into different, like build out established businesses like e-com arms to their content business, stuff like that. So, but it's not to say that's been easy. It's been very, very difficult. And I feel the pain on a lot of people that have purchased content sites, myself included, right? I've lost out on content sites, lost traffic, lost money. And that's really a part of investing. And what's your advice? I mean, I've got my advice for people moving forwards, like that have lost money on deals, but what's your advice? You've bought some that have been hit. Like, how did you handle it? How do you the inspiration to move forwards and continue on?
So I see that the market have changed to buying, let's say, you combine businesses. So as example, now with the SEO world, people are talking about adding an e-com to a content website. And that will revive or might revive your traffic because now Google sees you as a real business. And you should be a real business. If you're adding e-com and dropshipping, you're there. They just need to see that you're real. And then you're not in that same category as pure content website going into the market. Just getting some information for somebody that you can now produce with AI and people believe. So it's not the same thing. So it kind of billing strategy of having, in this case, e-com and content websites, but also in other terms. So if you have already your own business and you can buy a newsletter with the audience that is related to that topic, that's also a good thing. So really
You mean growth by acquisition, right?
Yeah, really not seeing an asset as just on its own. It's like what I already have, and then put something on top of it, and then maybe put something on top of it, and then getting a bigger pie.
Right. And what interesting enough, so you've got a couple of businesses in your portfolio. What's your goal? Like, how do you manage these and what's your focus moving forwards, like in terms of growth? Like, what are you wanting? Where are you at now? What do you want to do? And what do you want your portfolio to look like eventually?
So I found out that I'm very good at finding the deals. I also enjoy that process, the more than the operations. So I prefer to find deals and then work with partners. And this is what has happened with my digital assets over time. Some of them had partners from the beginning, but even the one that didn't, most of them, then I said, let's bring on a partner that can help, which is more on either SEO or operation to move things forward.
Cool. And how did you find these partners?
I can't say they're not friends, but they are all people I've met. And then I'd say it just happened to be because I was doing a digital asset. I have my skill set. They have a different skill that we can match. Maybe you're expecting for an answer like, yeah, I found them on this community, on that community.
Well, no, just like it's the reason I ask is because there's people that buy businesses as well. And they're growing them, but they've also got a day job. They can bring people in that are more experienced in terms of SEO and different things. And I think it's great having partners in the business. But the reason I ask is like your business is a sub 100K. So like, what does that look like in terms of like the partnership agreements? Like, do you bring them on and they're doing operations and they're getting a bit of or are they getting paid a wage? Or like, what does that look like for the one that you have? So you've got somebody
Most of
with
them,
operations.
not all of them. One of them is more complex. Most of them, I was happy to give 50% for that, for their operation and partnership, because they would do, I can't say most of the work, but a lot of the work. And I'm okay with that. I see the value there.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. It's a really good thing moving forwards. And what do you want your portfolio to look like in the future?
So I would like to build up probably a holdco of a few of those more successful ones. Probably want to grow each one to around 10,000 a month, and then either selling everything together if there is a match, or maybe selling them one by one. It's too soon to tell.
Cool. But eventually build out a whole company.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Awesome. What have you got any questions for me, if any? I know that you sort of found me online years ago, and
Yes.
yeah, we're both in the space. Like, it's great for me to come and ask you questions and learn from you. But yeah, have you got anything for me?
I'm very interested to know how you built your communities, because nowadays building communities, it's kind of one of those moats that I mentioned. Like, building that is hard, but once we have it, it's very, very powerful. So I'm impressed with your work of building that community, and I want to learn and hear more.
Yeah, for sure. Great question. The answer is showing up.
Okay.
I've got 320 something podcast episodes, thousands of YouTube videos, and we answer all the emails. I've got somebody who helps me with emails now. The answer is just showing up and helping people and just giving insane amounts of value. The best way to grow it is for me to grow. So the more I grow, the better it grows, because the more value I can add, which attracts more people. So how I've just grown it is like, I just started off like, literally, I bought a couple of businesses myself, and people were like, dude, you need to teach me this stuff. So I just started teaching people for free. I just gave my course away for free, the very first version of it, of course. And I did it for free for 15 people. And then I started charging. And then, yeah, I just coached so much and just showed up. And that's basically, it's people will get behind a movement if they've got a leader that will fight for them and not just fighting for themselves. They'll fight for them and actually want the best for people. Like, it's like, I don't need to continue doing what I'm doing, but I just don't want people to get stuffed over and buy bad businesses. Like, that's the reason people like, I'm going to buy a business. I'm like, well, let me make sure I look at it and you just don't get scammed.
Yeah.
I just want to, you just like, that's
I
how
heard that.
I guess. Yeah.
I heard
Right.
that
Like
too.
yeah. So I don't have a specific answer and like a formula other than just like showing up. I don't think a lot of people can do that these days. And
And you show up for 9 years.
Yeah, man, like very disciplined. It's very hard to be disciplined. Even when times are rocky, I nearly lost this business. We went backwards for a year. Things changed, business model changed, but it's just I've committed and stayed the course. And I think the aim of the game is staying in the game. And yeah.
How many people in the team now?
In the team, we've got myself, Lynn, my assistant, content manager, Eden, and then a business analyst. So we keep it pretty tight, actually, and simple. Like, I don't want a big team. Yeah. Most people know Lynn as my assistant. She manages my inbox. And then also our analyst, business analyst. But most people don't really know Eden, who is content manager. She's a real hero. And then we also have like a bunch of different contractors that do different things, but pretty tight team and small team. And it's been like that for years now, which is fun.
Nice. Very impressive. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thanks. And I hope everybody listen. I mean, I don't really share much about that side of it, and hopefully that's insightful for everybody listening on the podcast. And thank you for sharing as well, Shlomo. It's so good to know that it's so inspirational for people that have bought businesses, smaller businesses under the 100K range and have been affected, but you see a light of the tunnel and you are committed and you bought more and you're acquiring and growing, and it can be done. And that's why I wanted to get you on, is to show that there's great people like you doing this and staying the course. Thanks for the inspiration. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So how can we send people to check out more of what you're up to? You've got your YouTube channel, Free Financial Self. You want me to put a link to that in the show notes?
Yes. We just mentioned before we spoke that somebody putting on YouTube my name, for some reason, they don't show my channel. So please put the link there. Will do. And also, I work, except of what we spoke about, I work on a bunch of other projects and stuff. So you can my work on Shlomo Freund, my name, shlomofreund.com. You can see that. That's kind of my and also specifically advising for e-com, buying, growing through M&A. I have assetbolt.com. That's my business there.
Awesome, Shlomo. Thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate you, and I'll see you soon, guys.
Thank you very much, Jared. Thank you very much.